just want to say a few words. First of all, in the spring, for the last couple of years annually, we've been doing, as a part of Mental Health Awareness Month, we have been kind of inviting counselors in to talk about the resources we have, our counseling programs. But we thought it'd be a good idea to do in the fall. It's unfortunate that students and families are often dealing with difficult issues, challenges, whether it's connected to school and academics or personally, and there's trauma that exists on all levels and comes in different shapes and forms to our students. And so it's not narrowed to a month, but it's all year. And often I also get questions about counseling programs that people remember what it was like when they were in school. And I have to explain how robust our counseling programs are, how many staff we have added over the years, like the full-time counselors at the elementary level, and watching over the years how proud we are of the high school program that has grown. Just very pleased to have you here tonight, Andrew, to represent the counselors and just share the counseling services that we have, the robust programs, and all of those services that are available for our students and our parents when they access. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me tonight. It's very strange to do it in the fall, but I love the idea of doing a presentation in the fall. You've all heard me do presentations on our high school graduation rate and on college, but now for me to get the opportunity to present about the personal social side of counseling, really the reason that we become counselors in the first place, is a very unique opportunity. Before I start this is the resources that we have from the district, but in terms of specifically the Arcadia High School information, none of this could have been put together without the work of Dr. Deja Anderson. This is her brainchild. This is her passion and her expertise. And then I'm covering for her today. I got the great opportunity to share the resources, but I want to definitely give a shout out to my colleague. I'm very lucky to work with her and have her part of our team. So we want to go over the overview. So one of the best parts of working in Arcadia, the Unified School District, is that our counseling services have never been treated as an addendum. We're not an appendix. We're not just an extra thing. We're just not in the side. We're embedded into the culture of Arcadia Unified School District, which is very unique. So we are functional at the high school. We're a functional department. We're on every leadership team. We're on SSLT. We're on SSC, which is a great message to send for our counseling team as a district-wide. So with that said, we also match the interest and we match the focus of our teachers and other departments and of the district as a whole. So people may not think of it, our counseling department district-wide do follow the MTSS strategies and MTSS guidelines. So what we want to kind of frame tonight's presentation is how do we as counselors fit into the MTSS framework? So, with Tier 1, we want to go over some of the universal resources and explain what Tier 2 looks like for us. And for Tier 3, it's a lot different for when it comes to counselors. It comes with more individual and outpatient type of referrals, and we'll go over that kind of information. So starting with Tier 1, what is more Tier 1 than our district online resources? We have this great library of resources at the district level for any student, any parent in the community to access at any time. We have the great website put together by the district, and then this great poster put together by DCI. So Amber and Ryan, thank you for your DCI students for putting this together. It's very powerful for something like mental health, for information to be created by students for students. So this is a poster that came out during the COVID era, but it's something that's lived on beyond that because we've seen the resources be so beneficial and so important for our students to have this at their fingertips at any time. And this goes for any neighboring district. If you need help, you've heard of Arcadia, you can go to our website district-wide and have these resources right there at your fingertips. So to talk about a Tier 1 model, I cannot think of a more Tier 1 than this for a universal model for our resources. So at the high school specifically, we do have our webpage. A lot of our information is online. See, it's broken up for students, parents, and teachers, because all of our stakeholders are facing these issues when it comes to mental wellness, and we want to make sure all of our stakeholders are represented, because the teachers we're all human. I think that's the part I think we all have to remind ourselves. We have good days and bad days, and we need to be able to know where to turn to for help. So we have this one-stop shop for all of our stakeholders, everyone in the community. And it doesn't just need to be high schoolers. So, if a middle schooler wants to go to our site, elementary school, all of these resources are universal to help parents start discussions, have resources right there, really just how to begin a discussion with their kids of how to get some resources for themselves. So when it comes to students, these are pretty much the major topics on the left-hand side of what our students have asked for. So we check in with our students with a senior survey on top of the graduation and college data. We asked about the different issues that they see when it comes to needs and resources and what's on their mind with mental health resources. So we focus our resources to our database-driven type of model, and these are the resources put together. And no surprise, the stress, anxiety, and depression. There's a lot of those kind of issues that we faced over the years, especially after the COVID era. We want to make sure our students do have these resources available offhand at any time. And with parents, so parents are always looking at what do I do? And this is a very difficult conversation, and this is probably one of the most useful tools that we can share with parents. We have different topics, just for example, we have how to deal with grief, how to deal with stress, and also a list for apps. So there's an app for everything, as we know, they always say. So on the phone, we have these links and try to keep up to date with the resources and tools that our parents and our students use. We want to make sure we're up to date with how we connect with our community as well. So these apps have been a great part of that, of the lexicon, having discussion that it is something that society is updating consistently, because it's a subject matter that is consistently evolving, and we want to make sure we're on top of it. So on the bottom, we have links to our recorded presentation, so any student who has not, or parent who could not attend one of the resources can see all of our presentations recorded. The great thing about one benefit from COVID is we've really built our infrastructure when it comes to online and recorded presentations. And when it comes to mental health, this actually works in a benefit, because we're able to reach a lot more parents and students, and in a confidential matter. So instead of getting all the people in a room looking around, who's at this, who needs help parenting, or who needs to have these difficult discussions, it's online, it's confidential, and it's at their convenience and at their own privacy. So this way, we can address not only the needs, but some cultural issues as well. Coming from an Asian family, this is never discussed openly as a family, and I know a lot of my students who have faced similar things, but have this there for our community has been a great resource and a great conversation starter, and have terms, because when I talk with parents and students at the high school, there are not specific words for some of our students going through some of the issues they're going through. There's no real word for depression. There's sad, there's crazy, but there's not that extreme. So this way, we're teaching new terms to our parents consistently as well. So on-campus resources. So as you see, the great part about our district is our counselors are all trained in all three domains. So we do have a wellness counselor on our campus with Dr. Deja Anderson, but any counselor from all the way K through 12 is going to be equipped to handle students with social emotional issues, academic, and college and career issues. So this is something that we've always prided with us. When David was at high school, it's something we used to work on the Spark report card, is we always try to update ourselves yearly about how do we make sure we're hitting all three domains of what it means to be a counselor. And social emotional resources is one of the most important things, if not the most important things. Is keeping our students safe is number one, and getting graduated is the second part, and always in that order, because we want to make sure our students are safe. So with that said, our students have access to a grade level counselor at any time, and the COD desk has now become a common lexicon at the high school. So I know now we're talking about that building to the future, what will Arcadia look like in 20 years? We're having those planning meetings. COD was so embedded the first time we did this meeting, they literally built us a COD desk at the high school. So those meetings from terms to dreams to actual resources, because we're able to be part of the leadership, decision-making, be part of the table. We're actually to get the COD at the high school as a permanent structure, where it's a landmark right in the middle of campus for all of our students to access. And over the last couple of years, the Wellness Center. So this is something that we've discussed for years and years ago. So Angie and Dr. Tung, we were at Ramen when we were discussing what would a wellness center look like. And I like to share that story because if we literally were eating ramen, we were talking about what will a wellness center look like. And as we got this discussion, we had a great plan, and then COVID hit. So it gave us a more extra planning time, but also made us really ramp up what we need to have in that wellness center and have it ready. So with the Wellness Center, this wouldn't be an abstract presentation without some data, as Dr. Hershey knows. We love our data here as part of our unit. So we want to just share that this data could not have been any more updated. So this is actual Q1 data from our first 8 weeks at the high school from this school year. So you can see we have 285 of our students visit the Wellness Center, broken down by months. And historically, October is really catching up to September quickly. October is historically our busiest month. So you can see it broken down by grade level, who's coming in. So I'm the junior counselor as well, so we've been very busy in our offices when it comes to Wellness Center visits. But the great part about data is that we can see the reasons for the visits as well. So one might assume, it kind of surprised us when we saw the initial data, we would have thought that academic stress would be the #1 piece of the puzzle, but we're seeing that it's personal stress that is the biggest piece of the puzzle, and students having both. So in our initial thought was, we used to think that academic stress was causing the personal stress. But now looking at the data, it's probably more apt to say that the personal stress is causing the academic stress. So this way we can see where that partnership is, what resources our students need to help lower these numbers. So now moving on to tier 2. So we have grade level presentations at 9th and 11th grade for a very specific topic. 9th grade is a perfect time to have these discussions. Coming from 8th grade, stress and anxiety is that #1 conversation piece that our parents ask for and our students ask for. They're having 6 full classes, a full load of homework, a sports, all of their activities, and trying to balance that all. So with that, we have, and trying to teach different terms and different types of vocabulary with depression. Are you sad or are you depressed? So with high schoolers, we're trying to separate those two and educate our parents. When is it gone from normal sadness to more depression? And a great presentation that just happened with our healthy relationships. This is something that I never got when I was in high school. What does it mean to be a good friend? What does it mean to have a healthy relationship? Like we were just talking in our preview meeting about this, that everything that I think I learned was from after school specials, Saved by the Bell, all those like different kind of sitcoms. So I don't know if that really prepared me, but really it prepared me for some moments. But for us to be in a place now to have this open discussion of what a healthy, what a good relationship looks like, it's very it's very nice to see, to have this kind of conversation early on with our students. So as the students progress on to 11th grade, we did this presentation about a week and a half ago for all of our juniors about consent and sexual harassment. Our juniors were very ready for this. Juniors a great age level to have this type of discussion, a very serious topic, but our students have handled it very well. They came in with a lot of questions, a lot of one-on-one questions, and asking some great questions where, one might think that they might not take it seriously. We could not have seen we saw the exact opposite, where people were really listening, really questioning, what some of their behaviors, and try to become a better person from that. And that's the ultimate goal. I think that's probably the goal of every counselor, is how do we have our students to become good human beings? And that's probably the ultimate goal of what it means to be a counselor. And then overall, we have individual classroom presentations. We partner with different organizations on campus. I said this last spring, and I want to re-stress it now, that for this to work, we cannot just be a wellness program. We're not just a wellness program. We're just not just some curriculum. We are embedded into Arcadia Unified's culture, and that's a thanks to the board and to all our admin for this to actually happen. For this to be successful, we have to be more than an after-school special. We have to be more than that. We have to be embedded in our culture, embedded in the framework of how our students work, to have partnerships with our EDI, with Link Crew, with a mental health committee, SMW, to have a whole wellness week. Means that we have to buy in from every staff member, teacher, admin, and district member. It was just great to see how much it's grown, and this is, we're talking over the last 5 years it's grown. So we're talking before COVID, so 2019 to now. So this has grown a lot exponentially in the last 5 years. And then our departments have been great. English department, PE department, history department have all brought us in for different presentations and given us valuable instructional time to have these discussions with our students. And with parent engagement, so we're always looking for improved ways. So how do we get our parents involved to have these discussions? So we're starting a more active type of engagement with a book club in the fall for our parents, and with a partnership with Dana Middle School. And in the spring, we then switch over to executive functioning about sleep and mental health, specifically targeted to our 8th and 9th graders for that transition. And also we have to look at our 5th to 6th graders as well. So we want to look at this district-wide. How do we handle these monumental but very exciting transitions for our students, and how do we help the parents with that as well? And so when we hit tier 3, so when tier 3 for a counselor is when it becomes beyond the scope of our credential and our purview and our professional scope. So with the help of the district, we had the referral to Care Solace. So Care Solace has been a great resource for our students, and it's a lot easier once we walk a parent through the process. It's a great thing. So one of the hardest things with getting mental health resources with our family is getting the appointment. How does my insurance take this? Who has room? Is there a doctor in my local area? So how Care Solace works, you can see, this is my actual home screen up there. I can do something called a warm handoff. So the warm handoff lets me just do a brief questionnaire about the issue. If we talk with the parents, a brief screening, and then the minute that happens, within about 24 hours, Care Solace contacts our parents with a one-on-one care agent and then refers them. They do all the heavy lifting. They work with the insurance companies. They call all the local mental health resources. They text the parents, and there's a constant stream. And as counselors, we get a copy of every text sent to the parents, so we know exactly where they are in the process. And then in that time, they book the appointment, and all the family has to do is check in once the appointment's been made for them. So, as we know, when it comes to insurance companies, if anyone's been on the phone with the insurance company, it takes a while. So it's not an instant thing. So as Care Solace is doing this process, getting these resources ready for the family, we just brought in Hazel Health over the last couple of years. So Hazel Health is our newest resources, which is actual one-on-one therapy for our students. It's not used to be this universal therapy model or a long-term model. It's designed to be a stopgap. So it helps give some resources, a person for our families to talk to as a more long-term plan has been set up through. So it's a partnership kind of working with the counselors, working with the school, working with Care Solace and Hazel Health, all connected together for us to make sure there's a long-term plan, because we want to make sure that we build the resiliency in these students to move on from there. So it's to give them the skill set and to become better humans in the future. And with that said, I just want to thank you. So it's kind of a quick resource of what we have there. There's been a lot over the last 5 years, and say thank you for the support everyone here has shown us to get all these resources in place so quickly.